CBS Sports proudly presents the Atlanta Falcons versus the Washinton Redskins. And Sonny, you're still the one and only.
I got out here at 7 o'clock this morning to put that thing up. I hope nobody takes it down.
Well, everybody, I'm Vince Scully, and with me, the legend of his times, the one and only, the unflappable Christian Adolph, better known to the world as Sonny Jurgensen, and not a bad little dancer.
You read it just like I said to.
All right, now that we've done that, let's go down on the field and see about the big boys.
Well, I'm looking forward to this one, Ben. Coming back home, getting a chance to see Washington play, and as badly as they played last week, I'm sure they're going to be ready to play today, and they're going to have to be.
George Allen, who had never lost an opening game, did so last week to the New York Giants. George Allen has never lost to the Atlanta Falcons. He was 2-0 with the Rams. He is 8-0 with Washington. And here is the young and vibrant Atlanta Falcon ball club that is fresh from upsetting the Los Angeles Rams. The officials, Gene Bartha, referee, Joe Cannella, umpire, with Jerry Bergman, Ralph Vandenberg, Vern Marshall, and Fritz Graf.
Another thing about coming home to play, Washington, since George Allen has been here, Ben, they're 35-8, and that's quite a home record.
Washington will be kicking off. Bias number 38, Farmer, standing all alone on the 2-yard line and flanked on the far side as they set up a trio. The Atlanta Falcons about ready to receive. Tom Moriarty, Bias up in front of Farmer. So Washington, smarting from that defeat of last week, has Mark Mosley tee it up on the 35-yard line. So Mosley ready to kick off. Atlanta ready to receive, and in a moment, each team will be tested. The youngsters from Georgia and this veteran ball club from Washington. Mark Mosley kicking off. It's high but not deep, and it'll be Carl Farmer standing on his 7-yard line to the 15, to the 20, gets across the 25 and staggers to about the 28-yard line. He had big Wilson Farina along with Fields leading a pack for him, and it was Fields blowing the last block to get him out there. So now let's take a look at the Atlanta backfield. Scout Hunter replacing the injured Steve Bartkowski, and what a great job he did last week. Haskell Stanback and Monroe Ely are the running backs. Alfred Jenkins, Wallace Francis, the wide receivers. Jim Mitchell, the tight end. And right away, Francis is in a slot left inside Jenkins, with Stanback, the deep back, behind Ely. Second man through, Haskell Stanback, and he gets to the 31-yard line.
Washington's game plan today, Ben, is really try to force the Atlanta Falcons into throwing the football. They want to control first down, control the run, make them have to put that thing up.
Those are those veteran Washington players who will test that very young Atlanta line. 2nd and 8 to go for Atlanta on their own 31-yard line. Here comes Monroe Ely, and he's to the 34-yard line. So a pickup of 3, it'll make it 3rd and 5.
We saw Atlanta last week in 3rd down and long situations, even up to 3rd and 18, run the ball. They don't want to be forced into making mistakes and taking chances with the football.
So 3rd and 5 for Atlanta. The ball on the Falcon 34-yard line. Jenkins left and Francis right. Mitchell, the tight end, on the right side. Monroe Ely on a big hole, fights for a first down, gets across the 40, dragging Dusick, and along with him Curtis to the 32-yard line.
You see, it's just a trap on 3rd down. A good call on 3rd down by the Falcons. The Falcons, from their red set, their split back set in the past, and last week, throughout the game, they threw the ball from that set. Today, they ran on the first time.
Well, they pick up 8 to have it 1st and 10. The ball on the Atlanta 42-yard line. Francis left and Jenkins right. Haskell Stanback trying to get outside, and Kenny Houston dumped him on the 40-yard line, so they lose 2.
Good play by Kenny coming across. Atlanta ran right to the strength of Washington's defense. I thought we might see Georgia's quarter defense. He did it against Scott Hunter back in '72 in a playoff game here when he was with Green Bay, and he really controlled the run and made him put it up then. and Washington went on to win.
Hunter has a pretty low percentage rate, career-wise, of about 44%. So he's not going to put it up unless he has to. That's Francis in motion to the left. Fake to stand back to Monroe Ely, but he threw low and behind him, and had he caught it, Brad Dusak wanted to flatten him. So it'll be 3rd and 11. The ball on the Atlanta 41. Just the start of things. He'll pull up a chair.
Good play by Dusak that time. Everybody out on the pass coverage. They ran a little play action fake. Now they come up with 3rd and 11, and this is what they try to avoid, and they want to.
3rd and 11 on their own 41. Jenkins left and Francis right. Ely and Stanback split behind Hunter.
They're in their passing set.
A charge, and Ely has to fall on the ball, and a big rush by Dennis Johnson messed up everything.
This is just a little shovel pass. Quarterback running left. Watch him try to just flip that ball back inside there to Ely, but Dennis Johnson had good pressure on Hunter, and he didn't make the connection. That's a play barred from the Dallas Cowboys, I think.
Johnny James standing on his own 25-yard line, trying to root it out of there. Eddie Brown on the Washington 20-yard line, and going back to help now is young Murphy, a rookie who'll stand on the 30. James hits it to the right side. Brown watches it hit and then go out of bounds, and they will spot it on the 27-yard line. 1st and 10 for Washington. By the way, this telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any broadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Washington Redskins and the National Football League is prohibited. A 32-yard punt, no return, and the Skins put it in play. 1st and 10. The ball on their own 27. Frank Grant is wide left, Charlie Taylor right. Gene Fugate, the tight end, on the left side. Thomas and Riggins behind Kilmer. Kilmer over the middle to Frank Grant. He's across the 40 to the 44-yard line. Passing on 1st down.
In the dressing room before the game, Billy said he wanted to throw on 1st down an awful lot today to try to defeat the blitz, because they like to blitz in passing situations. He's going to force him to do a lot more gambling by throwing on 1st down.
So Kilmer stings them immediately as we look at that young offensive line. Kilmer on a play-action fake to Riggins, flips to Thomas, who had it and dropped it. Mike Thomas had a complete pass and couldn't hold on to it.
He was wide open, too. He could have done some running after he caught it. Billy's coming out winging it to begin with. I think this is good for the Redskin offense to do this. They've started very slowly throughout exhibition season and last week, too. They haven't put any points on the board in the 1st quarter. They need to get untracked in the 1st quarter.
It is interesting to point out last week, Kilmer, of his 13 completions, 8 of the 13 went to backs. He's thrown twice, once to Grant and once to a back. Mike Thomas unable to get around Jeff Merrow, and Merrow drills him at the 40-yard line.
Jeff Merrow makes a good play here, kind of anticipating a blitz here, trying to get around it. Merrow comes in and makes a real good play. That throwing on 1st down is out of respect for this Atlanta defense.
So they lose 2 to make it 3rd and 12 on the Washington 42-yard line. Fugate is going to go wide right this time, and then comes back the other way as Grant goes in a slot inside Taylor. And they split the tight end. And whistles blowing and a flag on the play. Just as Kilmer was starting to call, those linebackers were coming up. What'd you pick off, Sonny?
I think he picked up a motion penalty. It looked like George Stark set up a little too quickly before the snap of the ball. As linebackers, this is where Atlanta likes to come and blitz you, and they got him in the long yardage situation. They're going to be a little farther back now. But the problem is here is picking up everybody. It's a gamble, but this is where they were successful last week.
Offense, false start. You can see them start to move, right.
Stark moved first. Riggins went.
Kilmer trying to pick up what he had established when he completed that pass to Frank Grant. However, he's gone backwards. He had 1st and 10 on the 44. Now he has 3rd and 17 on the Washington 37. Taylor is wide left and Grant right. Mike Thomas trying to get outside. He got by Ortega, and Brazina went over the top, and Rick Bias on the bottom finally knocked him down at the 43-yard line.
Good play for Washington against the blitz, but they went into the 34 defense. The Falcons did then and didn't come with a blitz, and Washington did exactly what they wanted them to.
So on a 4th and 11, Mike Bragg is back to punt. Roland Lawrence, Billy Reichman, and Rick Bias are back, so all three waiting for the punt. And it's angled to the right side. Reichman calling a fair catch, I believe. Jerry Williams hit him, and let's see, did they call a fair catch or not? Last week, Reichman called a fair catch, and another receiver ran with it. He has a tendency to hold that right hand up in the air.
I think he's just trying to catch it.
So a 34-yard punt, no return, no score in the early going, Atlanta and Washington.
Like I tell my friends, I said, see a Firestone deal if you're having trouble out your ties.
Ask a friend about Firestone, Firestone, Firestone.
When you're driving on a Firestone tire, it's a good feeling.
You and I, when we go to buy a tire, I don't believe we're experts. You need somebody to explain to you. That's why I feel I can depend on Firestone. I don't feel that they've ever let me down.
Firestone.
Some people think all color TVs are pretty much the same. I'm a TV service technician, and I say bunk.
In a nationwide survey, independent TV service technicians gave their opinion of color TVs. They picked one brand, more than any other, for highest quality and for fewest repairs. One brand, Zenith, for the 6th straight year.
Zenith says the quality goes in before the name goes on. And you know what? It really does.
1st and 10 for Atlanta on their own 25-yard line. It'll be their second chance with the leather. They had to punt. Washington had it once, completed a pass, then they were stalled and had to punt back to Atlanta. So no score, 10-17 to go in the first quarter. Scott Hunter bringing his Falcons out. Mitchell, the tight end, on the left side. And this time it's Jenkins in a slot, and now he goes outside to make Francis in the slot. Haskell stand back. And the Redskins get him short of the 30-yard line. So stand back trying to cut back, couldn't do it.
Good deed. At that time, Mike Curtis turned the play in. Standback didn't have any place to go. Had to cut back into the pursuit.
Well, he picked up 3. It's 2nd and 7. The ball just over the Atlanta 28-yard line.
How about that score? Cincinnati 7, Seattle nothing in the first.
Yeah, they have to be hungry, having been upset last week by Cleveland. Jenkins wide left and Francis right. And Monroe Ely running into a gang. Gets a couple the hard way, and that's about all. Monroe Ely on the injured reserve most of last year with a bad ankle. He had played in Canada, so he was somewhat of an unknown quantity. But he played well against the Rams last week, and he's doing a yeoman-like job again today.
Well, you're looking at that big offensive side of their line. Look at that. Number 66 going up there, Warren Bryant. What's he got, 15 shoe?
16, if you can believe. Francis left and Jenkins right. And Monroe Ely gets away from Dennis Johnson and Mike Curtis and finally goes spilling out of bounds short of the 40-yard line. So that should be the first down for Atlanta, and it is. He got away from Johnson and Curtis and made the first down.
Johnson had a shot at him inside. They tried to arm tackle him, and he broke the tackle and broke outside and picks up enough for the first down.
You know, Billy Carter got a laugh at the touchdown club here once. He said he had never seen a professional football game. He had only seen the Falcons play twice. But there's nothing funny about this Atlanta ball club now. Francis inside Jenkins, 1st and 10 on the 39. Francis in motion, play action, fake complete to Jenkins at the 50, to the 40, and Lavender pushed him out of bounds at the 29-yard line of Washington. 1st and 10, Atlanta.
Well, you can tell he knows what to do with that boy. Look at this. After he catches it, Jenkins catches it, stops, plants, gets back outside of Lavender. Good piece of running there. Running back away from the pursuit, gets shoved out of bounds. Good play on the part of Scott Hunter and Alfred Jenkins.
That pass picked up 32 yards for Atlanta. They're on the move on the Skins' 29-yard line. 1st and 10, 8:16 to go in the first quarter, no score. Jenkins right, Francis left. Monroe Ely fighting to the 25-yard line. McDowell at the bottom of the pile.
This is what the Atlanta Falcons like to do. Good, look what they do up front. Good control at the offensive line, good line charge. Bryant comes off his man a little bit. That doesn't allow the play to break a little farther, but pretty good offensive surge here by that young offensive line of the Falcons.
2nd and a long 6 for Atlanta. The ball on the Washington 25-yard line. Stand back on a good play action fake, and Hunter is eaten up by Dusack. He had fumbled after the whistle. A good fake to stand back, but Dusack wouldn't take it.
Dusack made an excellent play then. Little play action, but nobody picks up. You see Ely trying to throw the block there, misses the block. But this is something we saw last week then. He just takes that thing down. He's not going to put it up for grabs. He doesn't want to make any mistakes here as he loses the handle on it.
And a big 5 yards as well to make it 3rd. And a little more than 10 yards to go from the Washington 30-yard line.
They're in their passing set.
Monroe Ely runs right into Dyron Talbert, and down he goes. Talbot met him nose on at the 30-yard line.
That's twice they've gone to their passing set on 3rd down, I think trying to confuse Washington a little bit. By going, they figured that they would throw from that set, and twice today they've run from it on 3rd down, and that time Washington was ready.
Dyron Talbot, 11 years in the big league, so he was waiting. Johnny James will hold now from Nick Mickemeyer. The ball will be spotted on the 37-yard line, so it is a 47-yard attempted field goal. There's a flag on the play, and the kick is no good. But now let's read the flag.
Let's see what happens. I think it's on Washington. They're going to get another try.
It's going to be holding, I believe, against Atlanta. Let's see.
Everybody's pointing in different directions. Oh, they're refusing it. It is on Atlanta.
It is indeed. And so Washington will take over.
Number 54, offensive holding, decline.
The offensive holding, as you heard, going against the Atlanta Falcons. So Washington will put the ball in play 1st and 10 on its own 30-yard line. You remember Atlanta had it 1st and 10 on the Washington 29. So the Redskins stiffened and held. The field goal no good. And with 6.5 left in the first quarter, no score.
Europe's most successful new car in history comes to America. Introducing Fiesta. Now imported from Germany by Ford. Fiesta. It gave European drivers the precise control of rack and pinion steering. And road-gripping Michelin radial tires. The power that took it from 0 to 50 in an average of 8.8 seconds. And front disc brakes that brought it from 50 to 0 in an average of 3.3 seconds. Fiesta has the traction and control of front-wheel drive, yet it also has excellent gasoline economy and a modest base sticker price. Fiesta. Test drive Europe's most successful new car in history at more than 5,000 authorized Ford dealers across America.
Well, under the heading, they also serve who only stand and wait. In civilian clothing, you see Steve Bartkowski talking to Scott Hunter and Kim McQuilkin, his backup quarterback. 1st and 10, Skins on their own 30. Kilmer, play action fake to Thomas, throws to Riggins. Kuykendall brings him down at the 36-yard line of Washington. They pick up 6. That makes it 2nd and 4.
Let's watch Fulton Kuykendall play this. He's got to play run first, then gets out into the coverage. He's got the fullback, gives Billy time enough to get the ball to Riggins. Good pickup on first down. Again, the first down pass.
Kilmer now is 2 for 3 and 23 yards. Hunter is 1 for 3, 39 yards. And it's 2nd and 4 from the 36. Kilmer hesitating. Down he goes. Claude Humphrey eats him up at the Washington 30-yard line. Humphrey, who had 18 sacks last year, right on his game.
He had 2 last week, too, didn't he? I think he did against Joe Willie Namath. He got in there a couple of times.
That's right. The big guy out of Tennessee State, 6'5", 265 in his 11th year.
And coming back and talking to the Washington team this week, they asked me, they knew we were down there last week, and they said, tell us about that Atlanta team. I said, you'll be impressed. Wait till you see the pictures.
Boy, they're hungry. Now Frank Grant is in a slot inside Charlie Taylor to the left. They split the backs, Riggins and Thomas. Kilmer going to send it up. And it's to Gene Fugit. Roland Lawrence had him by the hip, spins and brings him down with help from Ray Easterling, just shy of the 40-yard line. So they pick up 9, but they're still a buck short.
If he had fallen backwards, he picks up the first down. Billy looked a little disappointed there that they didn't get the first down, but because he had enough in the huddle on that play. That's what you try to do. You say, look, we need 9 for the first down. Let's try to get it.
Well, he got 8, 4th and 1 from the Washington 39, and Bragg will be kicking from his own 25-yard line. Coming over is Roland Lawrence on his own 23. Looking for a block, and he got it from Bias. Oh, what a block by Bias. And Lawrence is going to be knocked out by Jerry Williams.
There's a flag way back down the field. Back on the 33-yard line.
Take a look at number 38, Rich Bias. There. Wiped out 2 skins.
2 good blocks there, but I don't think that was a clip. Roland Lawrence up the sideline picks out another block here by Billy Reichman and keeps running, but it's going to be all called back.
So a tough break against the Atlanta Falcons. Lawrence looking like he was going to start again deep in Washington territory. And let's go to the officials.
Number 51, personal foul, clipping on the run back, first down.
See, they didn't call it on Bias. Let's see if that's the block. Oops.
Nope.
I don't think that was the block. That was the last block by Billy Reichman.
1st and 10 on the Atlanta 18-yard line. Hunter on a draw to Ely, who bumped into somebody but got out across the 20-yard line. He bumped into Dyron Talbot, who had his hands full with Scott and Thielman. And a flag. Holding against that young Atlanta club, which reminds us of the first few series last week.
Certainly did. I think this is on the other side of the line. I would think it's either Scott or
Thielman.
Brent Adams. It looked like he called it on the left side.
Number 70, offensive
Scott.
holding, 1st and 20.
Yeah, they called Dave Scott. They threw it on that side of the line. It's just who was on that side. But last week we had and look at this man.
There's Claude Humphrey,
Ooh,
cooling it for the moment.
What a football player.
1st and 20 from the Atlanta 8-yard line. Monroe Ely outside a block by Stanback. Too many red shirts in the way. Harold McClinton, Brad Dusick, Mike Curtis, all there to hit him.
And the little man is back. The Secretary of Defense, Pat Fish, is back and was in on that tackle.
Say, friends, the CBS Sports Spectacular will feature the world's strongest men competition, a barrel lift. Among everything else for the competitors, a barrel with liquid and lead shot at weight increments beginning at 200 pounds. Then there'll be the Cup, the 5th running purse, $250,000, and the Super Bowl of motocross, all coming up on the CBS Sports Spectacular. 2nd and 20. Here comes Stanback. And he's shy of the 15-yard line. And again, it was Dusack, among others, over there, number 59.
What kind of liquid is that in those barrels?
I don't know about the barrel, but you've lifted a keg or two.
A keg, yes.
Okay.
Baltimore 7, the Jets nothing in the first period. Cincinnati's a little mad about last week, aren't they? 14-0 now.
3rd and 14 for Atlanta on their own 14-yard line. Francis wide left. The tight end is on that side, and Jenkins wide right. Still Ilian Stanback behind Hunter. Stanback. Mike Curtis got him from behind before he could get to the 20-yard line. So Washington stiffens, and Atlanta will have to punt it out. So Atlanta worked its way down to the Washington 25, and the Skins stiffened. Now 2 penalties nullifying what might have been a good opening shot for Atlanta on the punt return, and now they're in trouble and will have to kick it out.
Again, we saw the conservative thinking of Lehman Bennett running the ball on 3rd and long.
Johnny James, who punted 100 times last year, tied with Tom Blanchard of New Orleans for the most punts for the year, will try and kick it out.
Look at the way he's standing. Then he looks like he's ready for anything to go anyway.
Long count, flag on the play, nobody coming. Eddie Brown trying to play center field on his own 35-yard line. Gets to the 40. Down he goes. Bias had him again. Rick Bias, number 38, down there at the bottom.
Good field position for the Redskins. Have to wait and see what the penalty call is. A little discussion there to see what's going on. See if we can pick up the call.
Correction, no penalty, no penalty.
Okay. That's a 46-yard punt for Johnny James, and Washington will put it in play on its own 44-yard line. So with 2 minutes and 59 seconds to go in the first quarter, Atlanta nothing and Washington nothing.
I mean, it was really a good movie.
It was good, wasn't it?
Oh, honey, look, some poor guy left his lights on.
Larry.
Is he going to be in trouble?
Larry.
Boy, am I glad it isn't me.
Larry, it is you.
It is me. Oh.
The Die Hard has extra power to start your car when most batteries won't. Starting soon in your neighborhood. Sold only at Sears.
From the people who brought you Die Hard batteries, road handler tires, and Steady Rider shock absorbers comes the Sears Muzzler. The aluminized muffler that's only $19.99 installed. It's so tough, Sears promises the muzzler will last as long as you own your American-made car. Or return it for refund or replacement free. And if Sears installed it, they'll install the new one free. The Muzzler, only $19.99 installed. Only at Sears.
Watch the spectacular television premiere of That's Entertainment Part 2 tonight, starting at 8, 7 Central and Mountain Time, right here.
One of the winningest coaches in pro football, George Allen, and always the busiest. You know, he has made 131 trades in his coaching career, 81 of them with the Washington Redskins. He's sure busy. 1st and 10 from the Washington 44. Riggins and Thomas. Merrow almost encroachment. Complete to Frank Grant, and he's brought down by Brown across the 45-yard line, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Washington on the Atlanta 44.
A little roll by Billy, a sprint out, if you want to call it a sprint out with Kilmer, and he throws excellent pass here inside to Grant, who had just hooked up. Again, the first down pass by the Redskins.
Well, 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 43-yard line. The Redskins finally getting into Atlanta territory. Grant in a slot left inside Taylor. And it's John Riggins, and Claude Humphrey has him, and that's the end of the story.
You can see what the Redskins have done, Ben, after watching what the inability of the Rams last week to run against the Falcons. They just changed their mind around. We see a little brain work going on. They just changed their mind and said, look, instead of trying to run against that tough defense, let's put it up on 1st down.
So it'll be 2nd and 9 for Washington, and Detroit snapping at Hank Stram's New Orleans club. 2nd and 9 on the 42 of Atlanta. Taylor right, Grant left, Billy on a rollout. Throwing to Taylor, no good. And Roland Lawrence came over and gave him a little lick to make sure. And then helps him up. That's nice.
Down. Len Hoss getting up mighty slow there.
Len Hoss, by the way, is playing in his 184th consecutive game for Washington. And the only way he's been able to keep that string alive, he has undergone 6 operations. You got to love that game.
I told him about this big Wilson Famina. It's on his nose. I'll get back to it after this play. He had a funny line about him.
3rd and 9 from the Atlanta 42. Slot left with Grant inside Taylor, and Fugit off to the right. Kilmer, no good to Fugit. Lawrence there defending. Fugit thought that Lawrence had interfered with him. Meanwhile, Kilmer flat on his back under a good rush, and the guy who licked him, guess who? Claude Humphrey.
But I was talking about that Wilson Famina, the big rookie for the Falcons, the big Samoan, right?
Oh, yeah,
I asked him early in the week, I said, what are you going to do against him? He says, I'm going to learn how to say, hi there, big buddy, in Samoan.
He's a big buddy, all right. Mike Bragg is going to try and hit it out of there. No score with 1:33 to go in the first quarter. And Bragg going for the sidelines. It lands out at about the 20-yard line. We'll see where they spot it. Right on the 20. So Atlanta will put it in play. 1st and 10 on its own 20-yard line. A 23-yard punt, no score with 1:28 to go in the first quarter.
Sir, we all know Mobil 1 is the oil that saves you gas. Give me another good reason to buy it.
Well, it lasts. And lasts.
How long will Mobil 1 last? We drove it 15,000 miles without an oil change. And after all that, found Mobil 1 still protects as well as new ordinary oil.
It lasts. It lasts.
Mobil 1, the oil that saves you gas, saves you oil changes.
Stuntman. You get the bruises instead of the glory. You hit the deck and bite the dust till your bones ache. But now comes Miller time. Time to reach for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller Beer.
NFL doubleheader next week, and these games on the slate. Giants, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Detroit, Green Bay versus Minnesota, New Orleans, Chicago, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Tampa Bay at Dallas. Full schedule, and then the second game of the doubleheader, St. Louis versus Washington, the NFL on CBS next Sunday. 1st and 10 from the 20 for the Atlanta Falcons, no score. Francis in motion, stand back, is buried by Dave Butts, number 65. And Butts is a guy you should take an extra look at. Right now, McKinley coming in. Dave Butts takes a 52 extra large, extra long jersey. He has a 19 neck, 38 sleeve, a 12.5 7E shoe, and a 48 waist. How do you do?
That's about 4 of Pat Fisher's, huh?
Invite him over for breakfast, lunch, and dinner sometime. 2nd and 11 from the 19. Hunter to Jenkins, and he's pushed out of bounds by Pat Fisher. Pat Fisher has not hit a man all year, Sonny. This is pretty tough for him, isn't it?
What a competitor. He hasn't been in any exhibition games. He hasn't hit a man, and I think that's about his second contact today. He came up on a tackle earlier. He had a pinched nerve in his back. He didn't know whether he was going to come back. What guts, what determination that this young man has. And you say young man, well, he's young as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, among other things, however, he's played 212 games at the cornerback position, the most by anybody in NFL history. 3rd and 4 from the 26 for Atlanta. Play action fake to stand back. A pass to Ely, no good, with Lavender and McClinton over there to defend.
Somebody got a hand on it and deflected the ball.
So Atlanta is stymied. Remember, the punt went out on the 20-yard line, so they were able to advance 6 yards. Eddie Brown goes back in a single safety. Eddie was the second best in NFL history in punt returns last year. 646 yards he returned, 9 short of the record.
Washington's had the advantage field position-wise in the first quarter.
Mark Murphy goes back to help out Brown. James kicks it over Murphy's head. Eddie takes it on the run to the 45. Tripped and down he goes at the 40-yard line. 1st and 10, Washington on the Atlanta 40.
He saved him about 20 yards with that running catch, and if he doesn't get to it, the ball could be on the Redskin 30 instead of the Falcon 40.
And it turns out to be a 30-yard punt, and they'll spot the ball on the Falcon 40-yard line. 1st and 10, Washington, in what has turned out to be a battle of punts. Kilmer over the side to Frank Grant, and he's to the 25 and inside. 1st down, Washington. Ralph Ortega brought him down.
This was an audible. You see Ray Brown coming on the blitz, and this is what Washington does well, the quick pass against the blitz, not that long-range pass. They get the ball to their receivers. That defeats the blitz.
Frank Grant, by the way, has now caught 2 passes for 45 yards. 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 25. 2 seconds to go in the quarter, and there's the gun. So they throw goose eggs at each other in the first quarter, but Washington now starting to kick up some real estate here in D.C. At the end of the first quarter, Atlanta, Washington, no score.
When it's so cold, a radiator can freeze solid, and you're still rolling. That's the mark of Xerex. When it's so hot, a radiator can blow its top, and you're still driving cool. That's the mark of Xerex. When corrosion is eating holes in radiators, and you're still going strong. That's the mark of Xerex. Start fresh now with year-round protection. That's the mark of Xerex.
Are you still chained to? Gotcha. The rechargeable Norelco rotary razor lets you walk away, free from nicks and cuts. Its 36 surgical steel rotary razor blades are safely protected inside 3 floating heads to give you a comfortable shave that's razor close, razor smooth, for up to 3 weeks on a single charge. The rechargeable Norelco rotary razor. It lets you walk away from gotcha.
The Ford in your future is coming. The new Ford Fairmont. A new car designed for today and the years ahead. Fairmont's mileage ratings are the same as a little VW Rabbit when both are equipped with automatic transmission. Yet Fairmont has 90% of the head, leg, and shoulder room of most large cars and fine all-around visibility. This kind of room is combined with the highest mileage rating in its class. Test drive Fairmont October 7th. Fairmont, the newest, better idea from Ford.
A 15-yard pass from Kilmer to Frank Grant has put Washington in business at the start of the second quarter. 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 25-yard line. No score. Grant wide right, Taylor wide left, and the backs remain Thomas and Riggins. Kilmer pitching to Riggins, trying to get around Brazina, and Merrill finally knocks him out of bounds, but it was Brazina who slowed him down. Good play by Greg.
Good lateral movement by the Falcon defense then. Washington hadn't had any success. No success yet. There he is, Warren Bryant, that big offensive tackle from Kentucky.
He is indeed big. We were giving you some vital stats on Butts. Bryant is 6'6", 270, has a 16 shoe. 2nd and 9 on the Atlanta 24. Kilmer, same play with Riggins leading the way. Flag on the play, and Riggins unable to clear everybody out. There's a very late hit, and some words are said, and Mike Thomas didn't like it one bit. But the flag happened long before the late hit.
It looks like we're going to have a little holding on Washington. Could have been Tim Stokes. He may have been reaching a little bit. It's hard to tell who was holding on that side of the line, but the flag was thrown over in that direction. Could nullify a good position here. Let's see if we can pick up the holding here. Look at Tim Stokes at the top of your screen there, number 76. Holding on here. Positioning himself. Now the man escapes him. He goes down. think I'd have to call Stokes on that one. See if we see that now. We just dissolved out of that late hit.
2nd and 17 on the 32 of Atlanta. Taylor is left, Grant right. Thomas behind 2 blocks to the 15 almost before he is knocked down. And it was Roland Lawrence who had to come up and bring him down. And he got some blocks to move.
Certainly did. Just his handoff to the guard leading. Nugent out in front of him. And you see Thomas coming around. Good blocking on this play. Makes his little move here. Good pickup. 3rd and short.
Charlie Taylor gets a round of applause as he comes out. It's 3rd and 1. The ball on the Atlanta 16. Bob Brunet is in there now. Grant goes on a wing. Fugit stays in tight, and Brunet is back there with Riggins. It's Riggins powering into Kuykendall, who hit him head on at the 15-yard line. Fulton Kuykendall, number 54, the first man to hit him. Very close, although it would appear that the nose might be over.
Looks like they're going to measure. The big cheer you heard as Charlie Taylor came off the field and was number 87 went in. Jerry Smith, who just rejoined the Redskins.
They'll bring the change in to make sure. So it's a big play. Washington finally getting down to where they have a chance. The closest to a score, Atlanta tried a 47-yard field goal that missed, and then they were penalized to boot. They got it. So it's 1st and 10 for Washington on the Atlanta 15-yard line.
Cincinnati 21, Seattle nothing. Kenny Anderson on a 5-yard run to give them their 21st point. They're still in the first quarter in that game.
1st and 10 on the Atlanta 15. The first serious chance for a score for either side. Kilmer looking for Grant. He's got him at the 5-yard line. Brown hit him, and he might have fumbled a little bit. McCartney was also in there with Brazina. Atlanta feeling that he fumbled, though we'll leave it up to the officials.
Officials saying he was down. You look at him. Let's see if we can pick it up. You make the call. Little rollout again. 1st down pass again by the Redskins. Billy does that so well, that little running left. Let's see, right here. He's already lost the ball. He's on a knee.
2nd and 1 on the 6-yard line. Kilmer to Riggins. Runs by Merrow, but Lewis slowed him up, and then the rest of the team got him. Mike Lewis, number 69, was the man to first hit him and slow him down.
Washington's electing to go outside today on this defense. Again, you have to say that's respect, trying to get outside the blitzing, stunning defensive line. Get outside of that, and you don't have to worry about it.
Well, they spot the ball on the 9. 3rd down and 4 on the Atlanta 9-yard line.
And a passing set. Let's see what happens here. He's going back to throw.
Kilmer under a rush, but he got 2 good blocks. Now a 3rd good block. Going in the end zone, and he overthrows Frank Grant. He got 2 good blocks from Lenny Hawes and Ron Saul, but he let it go too much.
What is he doing? He was under pressure. He rolls out. So unlike Billy. Look at him. He's been watching Fran Tarkington play. He's going to come back and be a scrambler. Runs out. He has time and makes a throw here, but just a little strong. You see Grant in the back of the end zone. He's a little mad with himself there. He's got to be.
So now Washington will send in Mark Mosley to try and kick a field goal. They'll spot the ball on the 16-yard line. A 26-yard field goal attempt is good. And Washington, although somewhat disappointed, gets on the scoreboard. A 26-yard field goal, and Washington leading Atlanta 3-0, 12 to go in the second quarter.
Okay, Linda here's got to protect her family. A woman?
Sure, a woman needs life insurance just as much as a man does. And this New York Life Defense has just the insurance plan to do it. Put the blitz on Linda's money problems. Block out her retirement worries. Come on, Linda, it's all yours now. Get a girl!
I've got it. Financial security.
Where the name of the game is life, there's New York Life.
Announcing a unique new motor oil from Exxon Research that can actually save money. New Golden Natural Uniflow. Uniflow was tested in cars like yours. After break-in, it delivered an overall average of 16 extra miles per tank full. Savings like that could cut your gasoline bill the equivalent of about 3 cents a gallon. New Uniflow motor oil is Exxon's best engine protection ever. It conserves gasoline, saves money.
Carl Farmer standing all alone on the Atlanta 1-yard line. A speedster, perhaps the fastest man on the Atlanta ball club. Farmer waiting for Mark Mosley to tee it up and kick it to him. Up in front of Farmer on his left, Moriarty, into his right, Bias. Then he has Esposito and Fields and Yates on the 20-yard line forming a wedge. It goes to the right side, and there is Farmer on his 4. To the 15, 20. Hit and knocked down on a fine comeback play, and it was Dallas Hickman who came back, number 82, and Hickman, as a note, was a roommate of all people of Steve Bartkowski in college. Hey, don't forget the CBS Sports Spectacular next week, the world's strongest men competition, plus the Cup and the Super Bowl of motocross, Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Boy, that motocross stuff, is that unbelievable what they go through?
I can't miss it. First and 10 for Atlanta on their own 23-yard line. Francis in a slot inside Jenkins' left, and now Francis in motion. He's picked up by Pat Fisher. Johnson putting the heat on, but the pass to Ely complete for a first down, and Mike Curtis knocks him out of bounds at the 36-yard line of Atlanta. First and 10 for the Falcons.
The Baltimore Colts have taken a 14-0 lead over the Jets in the first. Don McCauley on a 2-yard run. 9:58 left in the half.
Kilmer is 6 for 10 for 69 yards. Hunter 3 for 6, 58 yards. And Scott now trying to move his Falcons. Washington leading 3-0. 11:47 to go in the second quarter. And the officials calling a timeout for the moment, huddling back on the Washington 40-yard line, so timeout. I guess the key so far, Sonny, in the ball game was that gutsy punt return of Eddie Brown.
It saved him about 30 yards, and they took the ball in Atlanta territory instead of back on their own 30, shorten the drive up, and you know, when you get the ball, you have to take advantage of scoring opportunities. I'm sure they're disappointed not coming away with a touchdown, but 3-0 against this defense isn't bad.
Well, Atlanta was down 6-0 to the Rams last week and came back. We'll see what they do this time. First and 10 on their own 35-yard line. Jenkins left and Francis right. Here comes Monroe Ely. And he got across the 35 to about the 38-yard line. Down on the field, Kenny Houston on the 45-yard line. Kenny is shaken up, and there's a flag on the play.
Oh.
Kenny Houston, an 11-year veteran out of Prairie View. He holds 3 NFL records. 9 lifetime touchdown interceptions, 2 touchdown interceptions in one game, 4 touchdown interceptions in one season. He's got 41 career interceptions, and what all that means is Washington can ill afford to lose him.
Personal foul.
They caught the big rookie, Warren Bryant, on a personal foul.
And Kenny Houston still down at the 45-yard line. So timeout. Eddie Brown has come on in once Houston leaves. But for Washington, that would be a sizable hole in the defense.
Day in and day out, Kenny Houston does his job as well as anyone in football, playing that strong safety, coming up and playing the run, and also playing the pass. Difficult to throw at, I'll tell you, because he practices the same way. In throwing against him in practice, you have to work to get open, you have to work to beat him.
Kenny has been at this business professionally for 11 years. He's 33 years old, and he took quite a lick there, but is slowly getting up. and evidently okay, thank goodness. So Kenny Houston will come out, receiving the plaudits of the crowd. Eddie Brown will go in at strong safety for him. And because of the penalty against Warren Bryant, it's 1st and 22 for Atlanta. And the ball is inside the Atlanta 25. They spot it on the Atlanta 23. So Scott Hunter, who has passed for 69 yards and doesn't particularly like to pull up in the air, will have to come up with a miracle now.
They kind of lull you to sleep a little bit. They run that thing so often on first down, that little play action that they ran there early, kind of lulls you to sleep, and they find the man open.
Well, we'll see what Scott Hunter does now. 1st and 22. It's Haskell stand back with Bryant blocking, but there were too many red shirts. Warren Bryant, the big kid, was out in front of him, but he was just overwhelmed. And Kenny Houston is back in the ball game. So he just came out for one play.
Must have gotten his bell rung a little bit.
They spot the ball on the 27-yard line. 2nd and 18 on the Atlanta 27. Francis inside Jenkins in a slot right. Haskell stand back behind Scott's block, but Mike Curtis got him from behind. After McKinley tried to block Curtis out of the play, Mike just slid off the block, kept coming and got him, and I guess that's your double effort that George Allen always talks about.
Well, that's right. What'd he tell you in the dressing room? He wanted his people wild today. He wanted wild men out here playing this thing. The Saints and the Lions are tied up now, 7 apiece in the second period. Chuck Muncy on a 31-yard touchdown run.
So 3rd and 17, the ball on the Atlanta 28-yard line, and this is where Hunter has to come up with a big play. Under a rush from Talbot and Brundage, he unloads to Jenkins, who came back to get it, and Jenkins gets back across the 40, but not enough. He had gotten up to about the 45-yard line and had to come back to take the pass.
This is really not a rollout pass, but the pressure gets him here. He sees some opening out there, and Hunter lets the roll out. You see Dusick coming at him. Jenkins is up by the first down marker, but coming back to catch it, there's a long way to get back up there, and you see all the people. The thing draws a crowd in a hurry.
So Johnny James will be punting, and Eddie Brown standing all alone on his 22-yard line for Washington. John gets good protection and roots it out of there. Eddie Brown taking it on his 12-yard line. And he got to the 20. So he gained about an 8-yard return, and that's all. So Washington 3, Atlanta nothing. 9:23 to go in the second quarter.
Sit tight, Pop. I'll pump myself. Let me tell you something, gang. Any gas will get you where you want to go. But it ought to be in there cleaning your carburetor, too. Now, you want to make sure you're getting the job done, use new STP gas treatment. You just pump in a can with every tank load of gas, and it goes to work cleaning like a bandit. Clean that carburetor. Get a hold of this, and do it yourself. Keep the change, partner.
Leslie Caron for Color Track by RCA.
In Gigi, my brooch was blue, the leaves were green, and my gown was lavender lace. If these colors don't look right to you, you should know about Color Track from RCA. Getting the color right is what Color Track is all about. It actually adjusts the colors and locks them on track.
Before you see the Color Track system grabs it, aligns it, defines it, sharpens it, tones it, and locks the color on track.
RCA is making television better and better.
60 Minutes takes you on a stakeout as government agents move in on the mob. Tonight at 7, 6 Central and Mountain Time.
A 48-yard punt by Johnny James, an 8-yard return by Eddie Brown, and Washington puts the ball in play. 1st and 10 on its own 20-yard line. Washington leading Atlanta 3-0, thanks to a 26-yard field goal by Mark Mosley. We have 9:23 to go in the second quarter. Frank Grant, who has really been the offense on the other end of the Kilmer pass, is wide right. Charlie Taylor left. Mike Thomas on a quick buster gets out to the 25-yard line. Brezina at the bottom and Easterling on the top.
On the last lineup defensively, you saw what the passing has done to the Atlanta defense on first down. Ray Brown, the strong safety, backed off and went back into pass coverage. He's usually on the line of scrimmage playing run, and Billy Thornton first down and backed him up a little bit.
Picked up 5, so the ball on the Washington 25-yard line, 2nd and 5. Billy giving to Mike Thomas, and Thomas out to the 30-yard line, and he should have a first down, brought down by Mike Lewis, and John Riggins was out there helping with a block.
This is what the Redskin fans haven't seen, and that's Mike Thomas playing and being 100%. This looks like the Mike Thomas they're used to seeing. Breaks through with his quickness, gets up in, gets good blocking at the point of attack, almost broke it for a long one.
So they picked up 6. It's 1st and 10 on the Washington 31-yard line. Grant in a slot right inside Taylor. Play action fake to Riggins, a flip to Thomas. And holding him by the ankles and bringing him down is Frank Reed at about the 38-yard line. That would be a pickup of 7.
Cincinnati 28, Seattle nothing. They got their last 7 on a 54-yard interception return by Reggie Williams.
That's giving Seattle the needle, hey?
But Billy's ratio run to pass on first down really got to be something.
He's eating them up now. 2nd and 2 on the 39-yard line of Washington. 3-0 Skins, second quarter. Here comes Riggins with Thomas blocking, but Brezina got him around the shoulders, and the rest of the team came over to help out. Kilmer is 7 for 11, 77 yards, and the bulk of those yards have been passes to Frank Grant, 4 for 54 yards.
Here he comes in, number 87, Jerry Smith coming in for Charlie Taylor on the short yardage situation.
Calvin Hill also coming in for some blocking now. 3rd and 2, the ball just shy of the Washington 40-yard line. So Hill and Riggins with Grant on the wing on the right side, just outside Jerry Smith. Play action fake to Riggins. Kilmer a little lob to Jerry Smith. And Smith hit at the 45-yard line. Pushback flag, I think a personal foul against Atlanta, and Washington off to the races.
Watch this, he's faking the block. You see Smith down on the ground. That's being a professional, getting up, catching the little dunk by Billy. His first catch, and these people love it. You see him throwing an elbow there at Ray Brown coming up. They get penalized for it.
Boy, do they, all the way to the Atlanta 40-yard line.
Personal foul, number 34, defense, first down.
Ray Brown, who came up and threw that extra lick at Jerry Smith, is penalized for it. And so Washington has it 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 40-yard line. Washington leading 3-0. Jerry Smith lighting a fire. Caught more touchdowns than any tight end in NFL career.
I tell you, if you had somebody to go to on 3rd down, you'd have to look for Jerry Smith.
1st and 10 on the Atlanta 40. Thomas and Riggins the setback. Grant wide left, Taylor right. Mike Thomas tripped up by Mike Lewis, but keeps on going. Mike Lewis had been hit by Tim Stokes as Scott Hunter takes a pause that refreshes and looks on. But Lewis, who had been knocked down by Stokes, was able to reach up and grab his man anyway. A lot of second effort down there.
Another score in the second period. New Orleans 14, Detroit 7. A blocked punt gets the Saints their score, breaks that tie.
Washington on the move. They started 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line. They now have it 2nd and 7 on the Atlanta 37. Grant right and Taylor left. Kilmer setting up to go down to Taylor, and he dropped it. Charlie Taylor on the 25-yard line had his hands on it and couldn't hold it. And of course, for Charlie, he is the National Football League all-time pass receiver. He caught 635 going into this game, so it's kind of historic to see him drop one. He caught a few of yours, Sonny.
Yes, he did. That's the kind that Charlie's had some trouble with, and I think all receivers do, not just Charlie Taylor.
Why?
It's because they don't have to worry about catching it. The ball was right there, and it's just a lack of concentration.
3rd and 6 now on the 37. Kilmer down the middle and overshoots Gene Fugit, and Fugit was being double-teamed anyway. At the 6.5-yard line of Atlanta. A fine punt. A 29-yard spot punt by Mike Bragg, and Washington leading 3-0.
Hey, Mom!
Oh, hiya, Sonny.
Stop sitting around, Mom. Let's take a ride in my new Ford pickup.
All right, let me drive. Oh, if I can handle it.
This is the one that's built tough with Ford's exclusive twin I-beam suspension and a new 4-speed overdrive option. And extensive rust-fighting materials on underbody parts.
What'd you think, Mom?
You may think I'm off my rocker. This Ford is tough.
Of all Ford trucks registered over the last 12 years, 93 out of 100 are still on the job.
One step closer. One step closer. One step closer. That's what Exxon people say. One step closer. At the end of every day, Exxon's dedicated to finding energy for you. Energy for a strong America.